Good afternoon, everybody. Well, good afternoon if you're in Europe. Good evening if you are in Australia. Good morning if you're in North America. Don't know where else people might be joining from, but welcome to the Q1 2025 feature roundup webinar from Apteco. And let's just get my slides moving. I am James Alty. I'm joined online by Mel Davis. We will be your hosts for the session. Today, we're going to give you an update on the Apteco software, some of our future plans, a little sneak peek of what's coming soon, and of course, latest news about the software, and we'll give you a chance to feedback. Your call will be muted, but you can use the Teams webinar capabilities to ask questions, and Mel and her colleague Joe, who's also online, will help answer those during the webinar if we can. And if we can't answer the question during the webinar, of course, we will come back to you immediately after the webinar and answer your questions. So 3 headline areas for today. First of all, Apteco Orbit. We're going to have a bigger look at our campaign capability. We've been rounding out the basic functionality of campaigning with your first party data. For sprint after sprint, we've been delivering new functionality, and this time I decided it was appropriate for us to do a bigger roundup of that capability. So hopefully you will enjoy that. We will talk about new channel capabilities in Orbit, including push notifications and the launch of the Apteco SMS service, which some of you will remember we demoed at Apteco Live. We're going to look at the dashboards that we can create directly from campaigns, whether they use push or SMS or any other channel. We can now do lovely dashboards, and we'll touch on, but I'm not going to demo this time, some new chart capabilities in audience workbooks. In FastStats, I'm just going to talk about the extensions to behavioral modeling, the extensions to our text fields. We can now handle 32K text fields rather than the previous limit of 255 characters. And that was partly developed because we needed to be able to test and analyze the questions and responses from Orin, our generative AI capability. And we're using big text fields ourselves to analyze the questions asked and the responses given, and so on. So new capabilities in FastStats, including lovely new capabilities with expressions within expressions, make it easier to create expressions in parts than drag them together into one big thing. And in Designer, we got new support for DuckDB, which has particularly good JSON support, for example, an improved process for generating partial indexes, which we can now do in parallel, speeding your build processes, a new key type for table joins, an unsigned int or uint, which allows us to handle up to 4 billion int values in a join, and then some options for hiding data. So that's all in the Q1. Now, just a reminder, and I put this in the slide deck every time, there's a link here, and immediately after the webinar, we'll send you this deck as a PDF, and the link is live in the PDF. You can click see what's new, and it'll take you to the what's new page on apteco.com. On that page, you'll find sections that describe the recent releases. So you can see in the screenshot, Q1 2025 is at the top, and then backwards through recent releases. And it's a great resource to give you an idea of all that is going on at Apteco and with our whole software range, the Orbit platform, FastStats, PeopleStage, and Designer, and useful links, as you can see, to blogs, e-guides, and the Help Hub. So please visit the What's New page to stay up to date. I mentioned already the Help Hub. It's public. You can access it from anywhere on any device. It's beautiful and responsive. And our 2 tech authors, Chris and Reese, work all day, every day, improving the content in the Help Hub, extending it for our releases. And you can read about the features I'm going to show you today on the Help Hub. So visit help.apteco.com anytime, no login, just go straight in there. It's Google searchable, but it has its own search in the mechanism as well. But a lovely new capability for you is our on-demand learning platform, streaming on-demand videos If you visit learning.apteco.com, which that Discover More button will take you to, we've now got on-demand videos available for Orbit Dashboards and Audiences and FastTax Advanced course. And look out, in the next couple of weeks, we'll add an Orbit campaign course on there. As you can see from the screenshot, the course is made of multiple sections, each of them, 5-minute little video sections. They include tests, so you can check your learning, for example, or challenges where you can check your learning. You can stream it online anywhere in the world whenever you wish to learn more about the Orbit courses. And this is the new world for our training team, producing this recorded material in order that people all over the world can self-service training whenever they wish. I think I've told you before, we've built a recording studio on the top floor of the office, and Ian has been using it today, recording more video content for the campaign course. So use the learning.apteco.com or the Discover More button on this slide to visit that, and you can see trailers for the courses, and you can buy them now. Incidentally, if you're an Apteco partner and you wish to be invoiced for a course that you will then provision to your customer teams, your customer staff, you can come to Apteco and we can give you a coupon, a promotion code that then releases the content, so you can provide that to your customer users and they can each have a coupon code, and you get 30 days to watch the whole video from the day that you use your coupon. Otherwise you can pay online with a credit card. So truly on-demand training 24/7. Now, lots has gone on with Orbit, and actually in this webinar we're going to do 2 wholly separate Orbit demos. And I think we've got the most content for Orbit ever in a release webinar. The main topic I'm going to show you, and you'll be able to read all this detail in the handout after the webinar, are goals, objectives, and triggered events. And this mechanism we've demoed and talked to you about before from Apteco Live onwards. But I want to show you what a fantastic platform it gives you now for managing your campaigns, setting the goal, setting the objectives, and using triggered events. Let me just explain it from the very outset. The goal is the ultimate aim of the campaign. An easy way to think of it in Orbit terms might be, I want to land on the moon. So I have a goal of landing on the moon. My objectives are the various different things I do. I need to meet those objectives to get to the moon. So I need to launch my rocket, I need to fly through space, I need to land on the moon. Could be 3 separate objectives that get me there. And the same with a campaign. My goal might be to get more visits to my venues. My objectives might be to get people to register for my events, to interact with my web page, to download a coupon, for example. So different types of objectives across different tables in my data model can all be measured to indicate how we're doing, trying to generate the interest that will ultimately achieve our goal. So the goal is the big thing, the objectives are within that, and we can use event triggers, or triggered events as we call them, to react as people meet our objectives. So if somebody performs or behaves in a certain way, then we can do a simple little part of the campaign, say thank you, that's noted, and we can react and then return them into the main campaign journey that will take them to the goal that we aim to reach, or to abandon that attempt if they don't wish to participate, for example. So goals, objectives, and triggered events, and we're going to see those in the live demo today. Once you're doing all of that, of course, you want to track what is going on. And as we demoed at Apteco Live, when it was really very newly written capability, we can now generate dashboards automatically for each campaign, and they will become dashboards in your Orbit environment that you can share with your colleagues, and which have 2 alternatives. The tracker dashboard is more real time. It uses the response database where we're gathering interactions from the channels directly to give you tracking measurement. The reporting dashboard just uses the data in your Apteco system, and so will only change when your Apteco system is refreshed, typically once a night, overnight, and you can then see your report. The benefits are different. The tracker is more up to date, it's more current. The reporting tool lets you break down your campaign results by any attribute that you've got in your Apteco system. So if you want to go and look at the regionality distribution of your respondents, for example, you could do that on a reporting campaign. But if you want to look and see which channels are responding, how quickly people are responding, you would use your tracker dashboard, for example. So we'll touch on those today. The beauty is that these are dashboards just like every other dashboard, just like you authored it yourself. We've written the code to generate your dashboard as a start point, but you can edit it, you can change it, you can amend the layout, you can put other characteristics and charts and visualizations on there. And we will keep moving, as I said at Apteco Live, we will keep moving the starting point forward, but as soon as you've edited it, you can keep those changes and keep working on it yourself, and then view it directly from your campaign or share it as a dashboard within your normal Orbit experience and with your Orbit users, whether they are licensed users or unlicensed users, so viewers. You can let your management team or your manager view your campaign dashboard without them needing to be a licensed user. It's one of the really nice capabilities of the Apteco Orbit platform. You can deliver insight out to the wider organization free of charge. Now, we presented Apteco SMS at Apteco Live, our conference, and it's now available. And indeed, if you are an Apteco partner, if you go look at the quote builder online on the Apteco portal, you can now generate quotes for Apteco SMS capacity and based on your country. So if you're in the UK, you can ask for pricing for the UK. If you're in Germany, you can ask for pricing for Germany. And indeed, we support SMS send worldwide, but you can identify your primary market and we'll price your credits on that basis. But at all times, we give you the best and proper rate for the countries of the recipients you actually target. But for the quote and credit management, we ask you to identify your primary market. And we all know the benefit of SMS. It's personal, it's timely, it's onto a device that's possibly in someone's hand or pocket or bag, and you can get directly to them. And it's a great adjunct to Apteco email in that you may wish to send an email and follow up with an SMS. And that's exactly what we do in our demo campaign a little bit later. And we'll help you understand how many message parts you're going to send when you create a template and start sending details. As you know, SMS measured in 160 character message parts. But alongside that, and not limited by message parts, we now have push notifications in Orbit. You'll remember we introduced and I demoed push notifications some years ago at Apteco Live. It's been in people stage ever since. But now we've made it more visible, easier to use, because it's now a channel supported in Orbit. And indeed, you can see in the screenshot on the right-hand side the breadth of channels that are supported in Orbit, and there's more coming all the time. So, for example, you can see there Salesforce Sales Cloud. Well, we now also support Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM, and we're working on LinkedIn. And it's part of Apteco's mission is to support the breadth of current channels that are used in the MarTech arena. So part of our challenge and service to you guys is to provide the breadth of channels that you need to deliver the marketing message that your recipients, whether they are consumers or donors or business people, you need to reach them in different ways. And indeed, we have a healthcare practice where we'll sometimes be reaching citizens or patients, for example. And again, those people expect use of different channels. So SMS and push notifications, both now available in Orbit. And I've demoed over the last few months some of the developments in our audience workbooks capability. And since the last webinar, we introduced the multi-dimensional charts. There were 12 different chart types. In fact, the screenshot on the left-hand side at an angle shows all the different types of multi-dimensional charts. If you don't yet use audiences and you haven't explored all of the different chart types, there's many there. And good news, later on in the demo or later on in the webinar, I'm going to show you some of the developments that will bring those charts to your dashboard. So we are elevating our dashboard technology, but that's in our second half demo. So enough chat, let's go demos. So I'm going to swap over to one of several copies of Orbit that I have got running. Let's just go have a look at the home. You might notice the colouring looks a little different. We took the background image of a peacock off the home page just to simplify it, make it cleaner. Our design team are always working on consistency, usability, visibility, the improvements in Orbit to make it more consistent, and that's one of the changes that came in a sprint, I think a couple of sprints ago. But today we are going to look at campaigns. So let's go to our campaign area. Here's a series of campaigns, and I have one called Holiday Inspiration, and we've got lovely monitoring capabilities, but well, overview and monitoring. Let's actually go look at the journey. The reason I've brought you here is the new facilities that you can see here with campaign goals, and you'll see over here where we have campaign strategy, and we have new capabilities in the campaign mechanism. Let me just introduce you to this standalone block at the top of the campaign, defining our campaign goal. You can see this campaign is at risk. Well, actually that's because my colleague Liz published it with Adam this morning, and so it's not done much yet. The at-risk measure is because we can see we haven't really made any progress. You may be able to make out there's a grey progress bar there. Nothing showing yet because it is so new. But it's measuring the goal. How are we doing towards our goal? And we're going to see that a bit later on. We can see in this particular campaign, we've got 1,600 people who've had the email that we're going to look at, and that email has objectives. You can see here in the summary, we have an objective measure on that email. I'm going to introduce you to both of those. So let's go then, sorry, just to set the scene, we have a typical multi-stage, multi-channel campaign with some lovely sections down here, so we can see sections of the campaign structure, one of which is a triggered event I'll be showing you, and some of which, or two of which, are sections used to redirect the flow of the campaign. You can see up here, if someone unsubscribes, well, we're going to exit the campaign. But if they click on the inspiration page email, use the email to reach the inspiration page, which I'll show you in a minute, we're going to send them to the form interaction check. And that's one of our sections that's going to look to see if you interacted with the landing page. And after a week, we might send you to the resend section, where we'll send the message again to do a reminder for you. And Liz has created a campaign with sections to make it easy to understand the basic flow. And remember, you can connect different parts of your campaign. So here and here, we have connections to the resend section. You don't end up with crisscross lines anymore. We get lovely, clean campaign journeys that are easy to use. Here we see a push notification, and actually in the triggered event, we've got an SMS. So we have it all going on in here. Let's go back to the beginning. Goals, objectives, triggered events. Let's go look at the goal. And you see it's opened the campaign strategy. The campaign goal, in fact, sorry, let's go and edit this so I can actually show you what we are doing. So we're in edit mode. You see the display is a bit different. So we've got a campaign goal. In this case, the campaign goal is measured on the bookings table, filtered by a rule. What does that rule do? Well, in this case, we're actually looking for a very simple criteria, which is any booking forward by 3 months. In practice, on your real campaigns, you'd probably have something more specific about a key code, a product, an action, an event. But here we're trying to create something out of demo data. So we've just put a very simple rule in to pick up bookings in the 3 months from today. That is our goal, and we've set a target which is to count the qualified bookings and see if we can get that count to be greater than 20,000 in the entire lifetime of this campaign. But actually, sorry, I've misstated that somewhat. The goal is to get as many as we can, but to measure it, we've set a target which is to count the number of bookings that meet our filter, and we've given it a date range. So 24th of March, yesterday, when we first ran the campaign, to the 26th of April. Can be any date that you prefer. And we're going to report in terms of that progress. So we're going to report how well are we doing. And this date is for when you received a communication. So we will automatically look, see which individuals have a communication in that date as part of the campaign, and then we'll measure to see whether the count of their bookings exceeds 20,000. And we'll be able to show a progress bar on that. You can see at the bottom here that we can set a description, a little reminder, what is our target, what is our goal, so that it's available for your colleagues. And as this campaign runs, we leave it running for the next few weeks, you'll start to see progress across the progress bar on the goal, and we will automatically move from at risk to underperforming to meeting target, and we have a series of phrases that we use to qualify how well the campaign is going. Lovely way for a marketer to see at a glance what's happening with their campaign. In this case, we have a fairly simple target group. So we've got some includes and some excludes, and you can view the details of those. So we're excluding people who made a booking the last 2 months or who've already got a booking going forward. Those are people who've already booked with us. We don't need those any further. I'm not going to show this target group because it's a special one just of me, but simple target group that you would typically use. And then we have our email, and we can see actually in various ways. Let me just demonstrate how easy it is. If I come here, I can preview and test, and we can see a lovely email written in Apteco email, inspirational holidays, step into a world of vacation imagination. And our idea here is that we're asking people to help us target them appropriately, send them appropriate communication. So we're going to say, please tell us what you are interested in. And in this preview, the email is as if it were live. So in a minute, I'm going to publish the campaign and run it, but here I can actually interact with it. So I can press the button as if I was in the real email. I can see where it takes me. And lovely, it takes me to an Apteco landing page. Actually, this one with a plain URL, a technical URL. But you might have seen in our last release notes, you can now put a custom domain on your landing page. So you can make it more trustworthy and build domain authority by having a recognizable landing page URL. And so we can see various options. The landing page gives us nice branding. We can see some of the target destinations or available destinations from the totally fictitious teal green holidays. We can read about reviews of teal green holidays, but I can actually interact with this. So I could say, I'm interested in holidays to Europe, and I'm going to put my number in here. I decided everyone knows my mobile number. I get that many sales calls already. It doesn't matter, make it public. But I can also put in my demo email address. Those look right, and the demo, and I can say inspire me. And that will actually act exactly as it would in the real campaign. I've done it now because I want to have some time in the webinar where we can actually see the reaction. But you can see it's asked me to check my inbox, and fortunately I have that inbox available, and within a moment we should see the email arrive. I'll give it a moment. Let's go back to the landing page, and then if I just close this, don't need that anymore. There it is, it's arrived. How about that for timing? Aren't you always happy when it works in a live demo. So thank you for submitting your preferences. And what we've done here is use the double opt-in mechanism that Apteco email supports using the landing page to allow me to get informed double opt-in consent by the fact I can confirm my preference. So let's just confirm that. Your adventure awaits. You know, the Teal Green Holiday Company knows that you've opted in. They know that I've expressed an interest in European holidays, and so they now have more data to target me. Landing pages obviously can be more powerful than that, but you have got the idea. And in a moment, as we'll see in the campaign, we'll get another entry in here confirming my submission. So let's just close my preview, take you back to the email. So we've just seen the creative side of the email, but if I just go edit this, you can see that we also have an objective. The objective in this case is looking at a filter called specific destination bookings. Remember, I can have multiple objectives. I have one goal, multiple objectives. And so I can add more objectives if I wish. In this case, I just have the one. Let's go have a look at it. So we're looking at the bookings table, filtered by people who've expressed a holiday preference. Now that's coming into my Apteco system using our live data mechanism. Live data allows us to pull data with a granularity or a refresh cycle of 1 minute from external databases. In this case, we're pulling data from the response database. The response database, actually, we're polling every 5 minutes, so there's a slightly lumpier granularity, but we're pulling that into a selection that I can then use inside Apteco. And once you've got that live data mechanism set up, it can be looking at an external database and overlaying that data into your Apteco system. Without needing an Apteco data reload, we can put that data into a table in your Apteco system, overlaying the values of the Fastest data with the data that we get from the live data. So in this case, again, we are looking at a target for the objective, very similar to a goal. Our target is to get 1,000 people to express their preference for a campaign in a particular date range, same as we saw for the goal, though it needn't be. And we are also measuring here by a response time window. So we can be looking at the reporting on this within a particular time window. And you can see, again, we've provided notes on this particular objective, and you can have multiple objectives. While I'm here, let me remind you that we now support UTM tracking on Apteco email. Switch on, you can see that the campaign is the campaign name, the medium is email, and the source is the message within the campaign that particular message came from. And so you can go and see that in your Google Analytics. And down here we have details of the personalization options, which I've demoed before. So let's just conclude our little tour by looking at the typical techniques. I think you've seen these before. We have a wait period, in this case waiting a week. We have an email engagement, so an interaction split. So we're looking at people who unsubscribed or clicked or opened on a particular mail. And remember that you can customize this. So you can have click on a specific link to drive a different route through the campaign. In this case, I've just got clicked on any link on the way through. So we allow you to route people according to what they clicked on. Depending on whether they unsubscribed, they clicked on our inspiration page link, or they opened the email but didn't click, we can decide where to send them. We could do a push notification. This one isn't real, won't actually do anything. We haven't got an app for Teal Green Holidays. We have written apps in the past for Teal Green, but we haven't got a current one registered. And we can go to resend. But I mentioned earlier, we have triggered events, the third of the three topics. So triggered event, in this case, we get when somebody meets my triggered event constraints. So we can see that we're picking up the live data. They've expressed a holiday preference. That's the people that we are targeting. But you can also see, if I just show you the constraints here, each person is only allowed in this route once in their whole lifetime. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I've triggered my one event. I've been through there once in my lifetime. And that's to stop repeated offers or discount codes, but you can choose these to be whatever you wish, once a week, for example. You can have different entry constraints to control who is coming into this triggered event. And in this case, we are sending an SMS. Let's just preview and test that. And you can see, dear person's owned, thanks for registering your holiday preferences. Hold on tight, we're just completing an epic array of options. And let me just see if I've actually got the SMS come through. No, I haven't yet. So either I typed my number wrong or it hasn't got to that point yet. But I will receive the SMS when it gets through to this stage. And the SMS editor allows me to preview, to do customization, personalization, etc. And remember, in the campaign area, you've got the template editors. You can go and prepare the templates and put the personalization fields in there. And we can do a test send if we wish to. In here, I'm not going to. At the end of the triggered event, so remember the triggered event was triggered on the live data coming in when I filled in that form. We're going to send an SMS and then we're going to return to wherever I was in the main journey, which would be here, waiting a week. And only after a week's gone through, we will decide, what did you do? Did you interact? Did you not? Are we interested in following up or are we not? And those follow-ups are done in these. So we can look to see, did you interact with the form? And really just to illustrate the power of this, we've set it up as a loop. So it will go back round the loop, repeating once a day, looking to see, did we get an interaction? So we're looking here, did you select on the specific destinations? Did you tell us which ones you were interested in, for example? If you did, we'll send you another email to say thanks. Otherwise, we'll wait a week and send you back to the beginning. Well, actually, sorry, back to the other section where after a week, we'll wait for an hour and then check if by then you've delivered anything. If not, we'll resend the email. And then that goes back to the original section. And really, we're just demonstrating here how you can set up powerful mechanisms with little subroutines of communication functionality, data functionality that allow you to fulfill those rules. You might have a campaign that goes from top to bottom. I remember a vacuum manufacturer once produced a filter change campaign. It was basically one long line, and every 6 months they sent you a message reminding you to change your filters. That was it. This is one long line. Every 6 months you get a message. That's all it needed. But many campaigns are more detailed than that. Right, just to show willing, let's just say we want to run this now. I've already demoed the form and so on. I don't need it to repeat. I'm just going to run it now. And then let's save this, publish this, stand well by. There we get our lovely summary. It tells you everything that you need to know about the campaign. You can call this up from the ellipsis menu on the top right hand side. It tells you all the options. I'm going to publish it. It'll take a moment to publish. My colleagues using PeopleStage will be able to see this and look out for forthcoming folder mechanism in campaigns where we will allow you to arrange campaigns in folders in Orbit, which align with areas in PeopleStage, so you have lovely organization and constraints and controls around that. Really just to finish this part of the demo, let's go to our campaign strategy, and here we have our two dashboards. They've already been generated, so I have the option to view them. And my colleague Adam, I suspect it was he who generated it, could have customized that, but whether he has or not, I can use the view button to go get that. Let me just point out, actually, the whole essence of this demo is these progress bars. The campaign goal, where we're not really getting there yet. We haven't got people through to making additional bookings. but we do have 5 people out of 1,000 who've given us their response information. They've specified their destinations. So you can start to see the progress, and it's that easy. You can come in here and see the progress. But let's just go view the dashboard, and here's a tracker dashboard for holiday inspiration. Sounds good, doesn't it? Created entirely automatically by Apteco code, generating these tiles for you, and then updated whenever your dashboard is refreshed. Remember, this one is going and looking at the response database. The reporting dashboard will only update when you get the Fastats or Apteco system updated. And here we've got costs. So this is cost from the comms history, because in the channel definition, we've defined what it costs to send emails, to send SMSs, to do push notifications, and we're starting to see the communication cost just for this campaign. So there's filters on this campaign. I don't need our onboarding, and we can see a particular link actually that is looking at communications. You can't edit that, it's been set automatically to pick up this particular campaign. So I hope I've given you an indication of the breadth of capability now. We have a really well-rounded multi-channel, multi-user, multi-branch, multi-stage campaigning option, and you can use that to run your campaign. So yeah, I think that's it. There you go. 1,600 people that have been sent it already, 5 who have responded, and those were the numbers that we saw in the objective and the comms history. Right, I think that's enough of that. Let's go back to our slides, and a chance for you to give some feedback. So if Mel could share the poll. I'm trying to remember how I see the poll. Can't see it on my screen, but oh yes, now it's popped up. There you go. So, which of the following are valuable to you? Campaign goals, objectives, and triggered events, which we've just looked at. The ability to create campaign dashboards automatically. The ability to send SMS from within Apteco. The ability to push notify within Apteco. Or, I've not demoed it, but we've mentioned it, the multi-dimensional workbook charts. Please make your choice now. I imagine it's multi-choice, although I didn't set that up when I asked Mel to, or didn't specify that when I asked Mel to set that up. So Mel will judge when there are enough responses in. And I guess there we go. That's it. So. Okay, thank you. A nice spread of responses and campaign dashboards. Yeah, I think it is a really nice capability. You know, Apteco has provided you with great MarTech solutions where you had to kind of invent your own reports. Now we're getting to the stage where we can close the loop all the way back round to the reports. Maybe in another webinar, I'll concentrate a bit more on those dashboards, but look out later on this morning, we're going to see more dashboard capability anyway. So let me just check the clock, make sure we're on time. Okay, thank you, Mel. Let's press on. So remember, you can try what you've just been looking at. You can bring your own data and run a trial for 30 days on our platform online and press the try now button to do that. Or if you're a Salesforce Sales Cloud user, you can try with Salesforce Sales Cloud data, click a few buttons, you'll have it in Apteco, or you can sign up to play with our demonstration data set, the holidays data, in fact, that I've just been demoing with. So have a look at that. A few things on fast stats. So we have extended behavioral modeling to use selector variables more effectively. So you can now, for example, pick recent behavior by selector variables, and it allows you to build more flexible features that you can then find are more powerful. So look out for new capabilities in the behavioral modeling function. I already mentioned extended text fields. We now support 32K, 32767 characters in a single field. That's 32 pages of A4 in a single field. And that allows you to just handle more free-form data. And there are some additional options that you'll see in data grids, as you can see in the screenshot, where you can preview, or really, in effect, view the cell content, and it will come out into a pop-out window that you can see in the screenshot. So if you've got large text data, you can now see that more easily. And that's what I just mentioned. And we have some new cube statistics. Range will give you the range of values of the selected records that fall in a particular cell in the cube. The nth biggest will give you, guess what, the nth biggest value in a particular variable, or by a particular variable or expression, and the nth smallest the same, but from the bottom up. And they're just adding power. There are particular bits of analysis where you need something like that. How big's the range of data I'm dealing with? What's the fifth biggest value that we've had in our transaction table? You can go find those sort of things very readily. And we've made expressions more powerful in a couple of ways. First one is this. You can now use the numeric variables in on-the-fly aggregations with more power. So you can look at the longest specified range. So in this case, you can see in the screenshot, longest particular range, 500 to 1,000. We're returning the pattern length, and then on the right-hand side, the sum of those values. The first record has only one transaction within that 500 to 1,000 range, and it is £908. The second record has two within the 500 to 1,000 range, and they add up to £1,500. The third record has three transactions within the 500 to 1,000 range, and they add up to £2,000. So you can do more powerful analysis. So using numerics in new ways in on-the-fly aggregations. No need for virtual variables. You get it all on the fly, as the name would express and tell you. We also have the ability to drag one expression into another. It's a user interface change rather than a functionality change. But those of you who love expressions, and some people do and some people don't, but if you love them and you're writing big expressions, you'll know that sometimes you have to break the expression down in order to test what you're doing, to understand how it's working on your data, what are the exceptions, etc. And so you now have the ability to write those expressions separately and then drag them together to make the expression you want. Designer, a few changes. I already mentioned support for DuckDB, funny name, serious database. Includes tables and views and browsing, and we looked at it for a JSON project we were working on. We've actually found a different solution for that project, but we realized DuckDB is a really useful way to access data of different types, so Google it, it's public. We've now got the ability to generate up to 10 partial indexes simultaneously. So a partial index joins just particular tables, and the query engine will use that partial index if the query that is submitted only refers to those tables. It's a really nice optimization. And in most systems, the time taken to build additional indexes is returned in the query speed you get as a result, particularly if you've got an Apteco system that has one very big transaction table. You can do an index that doesn't use that just looks at the other tables, for example, and then you get faster results. You can now refer to environmental variables in your faster scripts, so those are the operating system variables. As I mentioned, we've got the unsigned integer join key, so from the range 2 to 4 billion. Signed keys only go up to 2 billion. And then ability to hide sensitive data and ability to delete, sort temporary files, so you can free up space. We're always working on those sort of things. Right, a few plans. Let me remind you, and you can use the links in the PDF when you get it after the webinar. Submit ideas. What do you want? We call it making a wish. Make a wish for Apteco. Tell them something that Apteco could do for you. View the roadmap to see what we've got planned, find out what's new, and see the product milestones all there. That's what the roadmap looks like. 3 periods across the top. Next is the next 2 to 6 weeks. Soon is the next 2 to 6 months. Later is after that. And our 3 wonderful product teams connect to look at getting data into Apteco, analyze, look at working on the data in the product, campaign, look at automating and exporting data, and lots of integrations. As you can see, those are just the epics. All of these are the features that our dev teams, product managers, technical authors, testers, marketers, so what we work on all of the time, making this sort of functionality available to you. So come and look at these. You can click on each of these. You have to log on to the portal. So it's on apteco.com, log on to the portal, look at the roadmap, and each of these has editorial content. Some of it's just a sentence, but some will be more than that to give you a view of what this particular topic is. I normally have a section here that says coming soon, but this one is coming today, ladies and gentlemen, with the next sprint update to 2.1.22. We're introducing lookup tables in Orbit Connect. So those of you that use Connect know that it has a simpler data model than Designer, or it has had a simpler data model than Designer, but this is a big step up. So we're going to introduce lookup tables that support one-to-one and many-to-one relationships. The key structure already supported is one-to-many, which is now actually displayed, but you now also have the ability to do one-to-one and many-to-one relationships. So that allows you to build more powerful Apteco data models in Orbit Connect, allowing more people to use a pure web end-to-end solution with the Orbit platform. We are also at the point where we are releasing the Apteco CDP version 1. And we call it version 1 intentionally because it has some constraints, and we know about those constraints. We can document them for you and describe exactly what it does, but it will help you build multiple, or bring together multiple representations of a single customer, supporter, donor, patient, whatever you're dealing with, into a unified representation. There are 32 rules, you might remember I showed at Apteco Live. You can bring those together around a single identity, so it's an identity resolution process that will help you ensure your data is accurate, you're getting a full picture of that person, and that data is then built into an Orbit system that then allows you to do all the great stuff that we talk about routinely in our webinars. It's a perfect way if you're just getting started and want to bring data together around a customer identity. Doesn't yet support an API, doesn't yet support real time, doesn't have all the finesse of identity resolutions of the big sort of Telium systems, but those cost tens of thousands of pounds a year, and we're bringing this into your Apteco suite at the same price point. Right now, we're in a controlled rollout. So talk to us if you would like to use the Apteco CDP. It's technically available, and until October, we're making it available to anyone who's running the Analyze bundle. So if you're interested and have a real project to test it on, talk to your Apteco partner, or if you're a partner, talk to Apteco, and it will become chargeable from November, I guess, in effect, from Apteco Live 2025. I'm not allowed to tell you the date or the place for Apteco Live yet. We're still working on the contract, but we're looking forward to seeing you in person at Apteco Live this year. And we are also several sprints away now from, or only a few sprints away from, releasing Orin, the knowledge guide, data navigator, and solution building assistant that will be at your elbow in the Apteco platform, able to help you use knowledge about MarTech, knowledge about the Apteco platform, knowledge about your data, and the ability to deliver solutions for you through a conversational interface. Ever since I first presented Orin in Apteco Live, we've been training, testing, monitoring and refining Orin and indeed refining the user interface for Orin. And so we expect to release Orin in the next few sprints. And we have a major update coming that I'm going to demo to you in a moment. But then Orin will be following on that. The major release coming soon is elevated dashboard technology. We are moving our existing dashboard technology forward to the same technology as we've developed over the last 18 months in the audiences arena. That makes the whole of the Apteco platform more consistent, it makes it more coherent, and it gives you new power. And I'm going to give you some ideas on that. Just to whet your appetite, but we have training material, we have documentation coming just to help you see and use that power. Now, what I'm going to try and establish today is that when we release this in about 2 weeks' time, if all goes well, but it's obviously subject to our testing and QA process, then your users, the dashboard operators, the people running dashboards really won't see very much change. The one thing that changes is the selection mechanism. So where at the moment you have add to filter in the top right hand corner of a tile, and that menu can overlap exactly what you're trying to select on. It's in the way, you can't get it out of the way. We've changed that to the same mechanism as we have in audience workbooks, where the selection menu is floating and we can move it around. So I'm going to demonstrate that to you. Right now, we're still working on final snags in the automatic conversion process. I'm going to demonstrate those to you now. So let's go do our second Orbit demo of the day, and I'm going to go to this one. And in fact, let's start at the front of this dashboard. And I will warn you, this is on what is renowned as the slowest server at Apteco. It's a very hard-working cloud box called Cloud Test. It's been around for years. It runs all sorts of systems. Everybody's got some test pipeline or something running on it. So don't look for this for snappy performance. But here is a dashboard. It's a dashboard that I made this very morning in order to demonstrate this to you. We've got numbers, we've got charts, we've got category colors, we've got a Venn diagram, we've got a cube that has some rather large scroll bars on it because there's rather a lot of data here. I have to scroll all the way up and all the way down to be able to see what is in this cube. I've got some big visualizations, a lovely map and a great big chart with a legend. And then I've got some one-dimensional charts, and really just to illustrate the range of different chart types, I picked one of every kind of type of chart that we support. You know, this isn't all of them, but it's one of every type. And you've got legends, you've got colors, and you've got labels and you know, things like combo charts. We've got two series, you've got single dimensions, and then we've got some two-dimensional charts where we've actually got more than one category on the dimensions. So in this case, we've got source and occupation, for example. And in fact, here I've got the same source and occupation, different chart. Here I've invented Apteco art. I think that could win an award, ladies and gentlemen. Modern art developed from your data analysis, and I suppose my challenge is who can create the data to actually draw something real. But we've got this nice new capability where, as I mouse over this data, or perhaps even more convincingly, I mouse over the legend, you can see that it's highlighting. We've improved that recently, so you can see more easily where the data is. And then things the same here, a stacked combo chart, for example, where you can move over the different things. Actually, I will just make a little joke that I just remembered, which we don't have much data that makes sense for funnel charts, but I thought this was quite comic, and it's completely by chance. Your career can go from unclassified through manual work all the way through a series of jobs until eventually you reach retirement. So it's like a sales funnel, only for your whole career. There you go, complete accident. Final one just has, final tab has just a sample of data. Now, I gave that dashboard to my colleague Robin and asked him to run it through the migration process. Untouched, we've dropped it onto our development version. Same system, same dashboard, but now running elevated technology. First glance, you're probably going to say, not much different there. There's actually some different numbers down here, but that is because of something I'm going to show you. Actually, I've left my demo settings in place. But you can see numbers, charts, Venn diagrams, cubes, big visualization. You'll see slightly different version of the map. I'll explain why in a moment. Oh, we've only got 5 minutes left, and as I said, it's not the fastest server. Come on, Cloud Test, you can do it. There you go. Slightly different map, and let me describe it while I'm here. The reason that's different is we're now using the same shape files as you can upload already into audiences. We've automatically converted the shapes that were in the dashboard, converted those to shapes that are now compatible with audiences, and we've scaled it slightly differently. The dashboard designer could edit that tile and stretch it again to the size that they wanted. You'll see the sample, data sample there looks exactly the same. But look, there's one of several snags that we're still working on. The dashboard tabs came out in the order I created them, not in the order that I'd set them on the previous one. So that's a snag that we'll tidy up. The 1D charts, you can see, they look basically the same, and that's my point. There are some differences. You can see actually we've got labeling, number labeling on the funnel chart that we didn't have before, and we'll make a decision whether that space is sufficient or not. 2D, much the same, so showing us the same data in the same way. So my point is, when you have the new elevated technology, there are a few visual changes, but the basic functionality is the same. Let me just take you back to the fundamental option, and let's just say we're going to make a selection, and you can see here we now have the floating menu, whereas if I go to the original and go back to my intro, and actually, sorry, we have some category colors on the test system that we didn't have on the developed system. That's the only reason those are different colors. But you can see here the add to filter option is overlapping my chart, whereas in the new version I have this lovely floating option that can do exactly the same thing. I can add that income criteria to my filter or deselect. So that's the most fundamental option. Let me just explain this one because I've only got a couple of minutes left. Let me just edit the dashboard on develop. I'm just going to go to this chart and just edit that tile, and I have a data setting in here which I'm going to turn off momentarily and apply that, and you will see that chart has the full rows and columns, so we have lots of data visible. When it comes back, I have to use a scroll bar to get from left to right and from top to bottom of that. That's exactly what you had to do in the previous version. You could, in fact, do a category display just on the rows, but if I just show you now, I can go to this tile, and as a dashboard designer, I can say that on the rows, I would like to open those settings, allow category display, and let's just say I'd like the top 4 of those. On the columns, open that variable, and you couldn't do this before. I can now say I want category display on this, and I'll have the top 4. And now when I save this and view the chart, view the tab, my cube is showing the top 4 columns by total and the top 4 rows. I can see the most interesting part of the data. And what you saw when I first logged on was a different, there are 16 cells, but I can do an even more interesting version if I just edit this again, edit the tile, and I'm going to turn off the category displays on rows and columns. And these are the lovely new edit panels where everything is consistent. We've swapped the meaning of the switches around, so now it expresses the positive side. Do you want us to display unclassified rather than omit unclassified? And we set all of those automatically for you based on your current settings. But what I was going to show you is I now have a new function where I can say across the whole of this cube, I would like to see the top 16 cells. So I have 4 columns and 4 rows. This could give me all 16 numbers on one row or all 16 numbers in one column, but most likely it's 16 cells between those. And there, you'll see it when it refreshes. We have a more powerful result when it's finished. There you go. There are going to be 16 numbers in here, and they're, as you can see, mostly under the website area. So I've got a more powerful result. As a dashboard designer, I can now constrain the size of what will be displayed, and I can even make it easier to view. In my last minute of this, let's just go to my tile settings and data settings, and choose my color scale, and I'm just going to do very simple coloring into Orbit Blue and apply that, and there you go. You can see even in the preview that I've got coloring on cubes in dashboard. That's, ladies and gentlemen, why we're elevating the technology, to give you more power to write better dashboards that are more insightful, allow you to share insight better with your colleagues. But I need to finish, so let's just go back here. A few upcoming events. In fact, one we've done already, Fundraising Institute of Australia, fantastic event. Our team over there smashing it with the charities sector and a new beautiful no PII dashboard, no personally identifiable information dashboard, showing migrations between segments. Florian and our old friend Thomas Vonneman from AZ Fundraising did a forum in Cologne. But next upcoming event is in the Netherlands, Webwinkel Wachtdagen, 2nd and 3rd of April. Go see Mark and Henry and Guido over in Utrecht. It's e-commerce show. Or come to NHS Confed if you work in healthcare. We'll be there exhibiting Apteco technology for citizens and patients. Or come over to Calgary, come and see us at Social West, 11th to the 13th of June. I've got a speaking gig, have to think of something interesting to talk about, but you know what, Martech, AdTech, AI, there's lots to talk about. And that takes us to the feedback poll. Mel, we're out of time, so let's just put that up if we can. Thank you. How useful was this hour? An hour and 1 minute. I nearly kept to time. We should have put an option saying, I want my minute back. But yeah, if you take a moment, tell us how you did. And I'll share that, hopefully. Okay. Thank you. That looks like it was useful for most of you. Thank you very much for your attendance. Let's press on. I'll just close that. So click on my slides. I'm James Alty. You can link in with me. You can message me using my very publicly shared mobile number. And hopefully this has been a useful session. Thank you very much. That's the end of the Apteco Q1 2025 release webinar. You can watch it all again because we've recorded it. Come to apteco.com. Thank you. Bye.